Hey model fans, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video, finally, again. And today I'm going to be showing you, as you can see right in front of me, a video that I've been promising for a while. And that is a review of the 992 GT3RS from Norev. So if you've seen some of my past videos, you will have seen when I've been over my friend Keith's shop that we've looked at a bunch of these in different specs and different colors that have come through. But again, as I think I mentioned in the last video, I ended up bringing home this one, finished here in the shark blue with the silver wheels. So in a second here, as per usual, I'll give you a full kind of overview of the model itself, a couple fun little facts and stats of the actual real life car. And then I also here have my 991.1 GT3RS model, so we'll do a little bit of a side-by-side comparison between the two models, and because this is a Norev model, the other one is an AutoArt, and just to actually see kind of the evolution of the model itself from Porsche. So as always, quick little stats and facts of the real car itself. So the 992 GT3RS, Porsche's latest model in that with that name. And by at least looks wise, it's the most hardcore. It runs the, at this point, kind of standard Porsche 4-liter flat six in it. Makes 518 horsepower, 314 pound-feet of torque, which isn't a huge jump from the last generation, but you know, it's a Porsche 911. It's kind of one of those, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It has a bunch more aero, as we're going to see in a moment. So, you know, it might not have the same amount of horsepower, but you're probably going to lap around the track a little bit quicker just because you're stuck to the road a little bit better. But in terms of the model, as I mentioned, this is a Norev model. This is my, I guess, second Norev Porsche model. I have a GT3 as well, 992. If you want to see that full review, go check it out at the end of this video. But again, mine is finished here in shark blue, again, with Keith. We've seen a bunch of different ones, and we will get to those at some point in the future to go over everything. But yeah, shark blue, silver wheels. You can see it has the black calipers and then black accents for all the aero bits. So the louvered fenders, of course, all the extreme Nakaducks in the hood. One of my favorite features on the model, the little kind of mini shark fins that run on both sides of the roof for extra aero. Unfortunately, the wing on this model doesn't move like it does in real life. I know on the Mini Champs models, the wing does move, but I guess you could say one advantage that the Norev model has over the Mini Champs, at least some of them, and especially the dealer editions, is that you do have, well, a fully opening, as much opening as you get on Porsche. You can open both doors, and you can open up the front. Of course, you don't really see anything if you open up the front because unlike your standard 911, there is no luggage space in this. Again, basically because race car. In the GT3RS, this is where you have your extra cooling and such for the car and some of the extra aero bits. So you don't get a frunk in this 911. And we can't open up the back of this model, but if you guys have ever seen other Porsche models or a Porsche in real life, you don't really see much when you open the back anyways, because the engine sits so low in the back that you can't see it. All you get there is, I think, the spot to refill the oil and something else. Quick access. But in terms of, again, the overall model, again, mine finished here in shark blue. Norev, I guess, pretty well known for their, their work with Porsche. So the model is awesome. If you've ever seen the real life 1-to-1 version, this hits everything on the head in terms of accuracy. Again, I guess if you get a little nitpicky, I would like to see the wing be able to move like it does in real life, but that's not really a huge issue. One thing I have to commend Norev on, I know you've heard me talk about it in videos, and if you guys follow models, you probably will have seen that when these were first coming out, that the wings were always crooked. They were coming from factory crooked. So at least I'm happy to say in this latest batch, the wings have been fixed. You know, obviously you can see here, mine doesn't have any crookedness to it, and everyone that we saw at Keith's shop, they were all fixed as well. So I guess luckily Norev, I guess, listened or finally upped their quality control in that. So the wings are no longer wonky on these models, which is good. Again, if we move to the front, you see all the awesome detail. Whoop. You can see the hood there, all the venting, and every little individual cutout. Hopefully you guys can see that on camera. But every little cutout and notch, which is purpose-built on the car, is replicated on the model. The headlight detail is awesome. You just get kind of a random license plate on there. I'm not sure what this means. I think some of the different models have different license plates. I'm not sure. Maybe it's just an internal thing at Norev. But we can see we have proper mesh on the front that shows through as well. You don't get the openings. Oops. You don't get the openings so much on the inside the bumper like you would on the real car. So they're not open on the model, but you can see them there. And I guess they are kind of modeled, but just not fully functional, if you want to say. If you move to the side, again, the wheel detail is awesome. We can see all of the extra flaps. Now, interestingly enough, this is not a Weissach pack, well, model, at least, car. Moving down the side, of course, we can see the louvered fenders, which help with swelling air. In the brake ducts, we have all the aero bits here. And basically, the Weissach package, like I said, usually in the past, you would think the Weissach pack is going to add all these extra bits. So the Weissach package, at least in terms of the real car and the model, you just get a carbon fiber hood. I think you get a blacked out roof. Of course, I'm sure on the real car, there's some other bits internally that we're not going to see represented on the model. But again, everything is shown here. We see, again, the vents on the side, which aren't fully open and functional. They are modeled very nicely, though. And again, you don't need functional aero on a model car. Again, all the rear detail on this is awesome. We have the one kind of singular brake light around the back, and then they introduced on the 992 kind of this upper brake light in the middle, which carries over on every 992 generation 911 model. Dual exhaust tips out the back, of course, with the engine basically sitting right at the back, so very short exhaust. And again, the 4-liter flat six from Porsche, probably one of the greatest sounds of an engine on a car ever. And one thing I will say with this model with Norev, they are actually still die-cast metal. So I don't know how well you're going to be able to hear that. They are still using metal. They haven't gone over to composite yet. I know that's kind of a talking point with something like the Auto Art model. So I haven't weighed it, but this model does actually have some decent weight to it. Again, being full metal, so it feels very well built, and it doesn't feel like it's going to be falling apart and cheap. Which, talking of price, I guess these retail, again, I live in Canada, so in Canadian dollars, these retail for about $180 Canadian. So they are on kind of the cheaper entry side for models from Norev. And then if I just switch out quickly, compare to something like this from Auto Art, my 991 GT3RS, which is, of course, built with a composite plastic that Auto Art's kind of known for now. I believe this one, when I bought it brand new, was about $300. So you can see there, I guess that's something to compare and contrast, that you have the Norev, which is more of an entry-level model, which costs about $180 versus the Auto Art, which in the past you could say were kind of entry-level models, but I'd say they're kind of on the mid-range now at about $300. So again, details on both are absolutely amazing. We'll go over this in just a second. But yeah, that's something I guess to consider. And also, I know with the Auto Art GT3RS, if you look for any of them on resale now, you're gonna be very hard pressed to find one of those for, I guess, the original $300. The values of those have gone up immensely. So just another quick little talking point. Now, we've seen everything on the outside. Again, quick little top-down view. We can see obviously the wing, and I don't know if the camera is going to pick it up super well, but they have all kind of the wing actuators are represented there nicely. One thing that I kind of wish they did with this model, what they have on some other ones, is have more of a contrast in color. So obviously we can see there we have the black calipers behind the silver wheels. I would have maybe liked to see them finished in red. I think the white model that we saw before, the white and one of the silver models, have red calipers, and also the actuator pieces on the wings are red. So it just gives a little bit more of a contrast. I know the camera's not going to pick it up too great right now, but obviously if you look at one in real life, it just looks a little bit better, makes it pop a little more, and kind of shows off that cool feature. All right, so if we move on into the interior of this, again, because it's a 3RS, it's fairly stripped down. So we can see there, I guess, the new steering wheel design where you have all your 4 controls, all your control settings right on the steering wheel. I don't remember exactly which one does what, but basically they control kind of powertrain handling and everything that you would need to set up for your best best run around the track, or your guys your more comfort settings for the road. You can see there, as always, right in the middle, we have the chrono timer, which Porsche is known for. Full PDK in the 3RS. There's no option for a manual, but you still can option a manual in the GT3. So something to consider for there. You can see it has kind of the more sporty bucket seats on there with a little bit of a contrast pattern down the middle, kind of that checkered pattern down the middle, which looks cool. We can see the GT3RS logo and writing in the headrest, and the contrast white stitching all around the seats there. If we take a look at the door cards, again, you can see not super stripped out, but we can see there it has the pull for the door handle, which saves a little bit of weight instead of having a traditional mechanism. You can see our window controls, hopefully just in, or no, not the window controls. The window controls down there on the door. We have a little bit of a storage mesh there, a bit more of a little storage pocket in the door there. Some carbon fiber detail for the rest of the trim, and then kind of hard to see behind the pull, but we have your lock and unlock buttons, and of course it's going to look the exact same over on the passenger side. I don't know if we can zoom in a little bit more here, but we can see some cool detail on the infotainment screen. In the middle there, of course, you have your 5 gauges across. Whoops. You got your 5 gauges across the dashboard there with your tachometer, obviously dead center and very prominent in there. And yeah, overall, the interior detail on this is awesome. It might be a little hard to see on camera here, guys. I apologize, but hopefully you can see there in the back, it does have the full roll cage as well, and well, I guess the half cage in the back window. So a little bit hard to see the bars over camera, but you can't see them there. I'll throw in a picture so you can get a little bit a better sense. But yeah, you can see a little bit more in the interior. Again, very stripped out because 3RS, basically because race car, but you do have a little bit of a shelf back there, and you have the tie downs should you wish to have the full racing harness installed. Those 2 tie downs we can see there would be where you would clip everything in, and then of course it would feed through, and it would obviously strap you in your seats there. A little bit better look of the interior and the model as a whole, which again is finished here and presented very nicely. So, and then just real quick, guys, to end off, just like I mentioned before, a quick compare and contrast. So here is, of course, on the left, the 992 3RS from Norev, finished in shark blue. And then on the right-hand side, here, of course, we have the 991.1 generation 3RS from AutoArt. And you can just see there how much more aggressive the overall design has gotten. A much bigger wing, much more aggressive overall front end. And then it'll be also really cool at some point when AutoArt releases the 991.2 generation 3RS to kind of compare all three. But yeah, there we go. And you can also see how much different the coloring is. Shark blue, of course, being a much deeper blue. Miami blue over here being a much lighter blue. Both of them my favorite, 2 of my ultimate favorite colors from Porsche. And you can see I went for semi-similar specs. Both blue, both have silver wheels. Just the only real difference being that the 991.1 has the red calipers, whereas the 992 has the black calipers. But yeah, overall, I love both cars. If we go back to the Norev here just for a minute, let me know what you guys think. Of course, as I mentioned, this is my second Norev model. I have the GT3 as well, and who knows what the future holds. Maybe more to come down in the future. I know they have a 911 Dakar coming, so maybe at some point. But yeah, that's going to do it for this video. I did promise this was going to be coming soon. So let me know down in the comments what you think of the 992 GT3RS from Norev. Let me know if you guys have one or are planning on picking one up. As always, I picked up this one from my friend Keith's Model Cars. So if you want to buy from him, his information will be down below. Just like that, guys, my camera battery is slowly dying. So we're going to end off the video there. If you enjoyed it, please give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe to see more videos in the future. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye. Okay, guys, just one more quick thing to mention. As I mentioned, with the 992, you cannot open up the rear at all. You can on the 991, the AutoArt version. But again, this is what I was saying. This is really all you see when you open up the back of a Porsche, or in turn these models as well. So again, it would have been maybe kind of cool if you could have opened it up on this model, but As you can see, you don't really get much, so I kind of understand the decision by Norev to not make this part of the model opening.